so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. And here we are, back again, primetime TV show. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Barbara Marvell Kelly, and with me is my co-host Dennis Kelly. We're back.
We're back.
On a new set, a new couch and everything, compliments by Great Room. And we want to thank you for that. But we have a great show coming up right now. Today's show is all about what's your story. What is your story? Your story is pretty cool.
You got about 2 hours?
It could be a lot longer than that to hear your story. But you know, What's Your Story is our special edition on Primetime to really share why we share that with you. And coming up a little bit later on, we do have Helena Trengata coming up with Bellissimo Publishing, along with Mona Giordano. And they're going to be talking about an event that's coming up to teach you how to share your story. So speaking of stories, because everybody has one, whether you think you do or not, I'm going to have my husband share his story as to why and how he wrote a book 20 years ago, right?
Yep.
Called The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. It's right here. And believe it or not, to date, this book has become the Bible of health, wellness, anti-aging for so many thousands of people, and they always carry it with them wherever they go because there's so many great tips in it.
Yeah, it's like a manual.
It is like a manual,
yeah.
A handbook.
Yeah, it's like a handbook to success. Success not just meaning monetarily, but success from a standpoint of our health and our fitness and our attitude.
And that's your story from over 20 years ago. What made you put all the knowledge and everything that you learned over the years into this book, The 6 Steps? What motivated you to do that?
Well, there was a tipping point. I call it a tipping point because there's points in people's lives where if you reach a crossroads, what decision, which direction do you go? One direction can take you to doomsday, horrible life. The other success, other direction, the successful one, of course, gives you a lot more satisfaction, and obviously it feels good to feel good.
Exactly. And you put a lot of feel-good tips in your book.
Yeah, I come from a very dysfunctional family. My stepfather, he was mentally cruel to me. My coach in high school thought I was one of the worst athletes he's ever seen. So I grew up with a lot of negatives. In fact, I come from a family that has very poor genes. My father died at 53, my mother passed away in her early 80s, but she was not healthy for the last 10 years of her life. So it's not the quantity of life, it's the quality of life.
The quality of life, and that's where you really started to dig deep into finding all the answers, really more or less the holy grail to good health and fitness, and you've set yourself up as an example for others to believe that there's a champion inside of all of us. After winning a 6th world title last year at age 78 and overcoming Parkinson's disease, I think that is quite an accomplishment.
Well, it was the negative that happened in my life that was the driving force. Because every time somebody told me I can't do something, it reminded me of my coach and my stepfather. So it made a big difference in my attitude. I would show people or do things to show people that it can be done, that I can do it. But, you know, over the period of the years, I changed that sort of attack, or that changed that venue. What I did was I looked in the mirror one day and said, I don't like you, because I was not really happy, even though I was becoming successful monetarily. So it was the fact that I had this negative past, and I kept using, I can show you. So I wasn't doing it for myself, I was doing it to prove something that, you know, to the people that were really my coach and my stepfather, to prove to them that I could do it. And that isn't the best reason to do things like that. So when I was in my mid-30s, got involved in the martial arts, that's when I realized I had so much to offer other people. So then got to the point where it was no longer all about me. It was about them, the people that I could help. I call it the white money, you know, where I have people come to me and say, you made a change in my life. In other words, the finest compliment you can get is when somebody tells you that you've improved their life.
You know, there is so much truth to that, and that's what your story is all about, in giving back. And after both of us doing a lot of caregiving for our families, we did not want to be in that state. And so that's why we do try to take the best care of ourselves and share things that have worked with us. I just wanted to mention, this book was when we met.
Yeah. In fact, you're in the back cover.
That's right.
Notice I put you in the back rather than the front.
But this is my husband's book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. There are chapters in here that could change your life forever. There's a lot of philosophical, boy, I almost didn't get that out, philosophical things that will help motivate you and inspire you and give you reasons why to take good care of yourself. One of the biggest reasons that when we hit certain ages in our life, we look back and we know some of the things that have made a difference that help us where we are today. My mom left the planet, gosh, what was my mom? I think she was 84 when she left. But in her 70s, she said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. And so she started doing my husband's videos and doing the Tai Chi and the Qigong, reading his book, doing the supplemental program, doing the right mind, body, spirit, having a better attitude. And those are all things that contribute to that. So the 6 steps are in here. And if you follow these steps, these have not gone out of style because we're getting back to basics.
Yeah,
Why is that?
And if you have steps, it gives you a plan.
Right.
So you're not trying to do it all in one thing. You're doing sections. It's like when you set a goal, you have your short-range goals, middle-range, and long-range goals. And it's the short ones that keep you going, keep you fired up, keep your passion there.
Yeah. And you have, what he has it done is it's broken it down to week by week so that you do a few little baby steps and you accomplish those, and that makes you really be inspired and motivated to keep moving on, right?
Well, the way it goes is the first step is basically exercise. Because if you want to be healthy, want to live long, want to set a good example, you've got to pick an exercise that you really enjoy, that makes you feel good, and that actually helps to develop the mind, the body, and the emotions. And there are exercises that do that. And so the 6 steps were, the first one is exercise. That's so important. I put that as number 1 because nothing else will evolve to success if you don't exercise. Then the next step is nutrition. You know, the thing that people don't realize, you do not get the proper nutrition from your food unless you pick certain kinds of food. But then you get to the next step, and that is supplements. So if you eat the right, good food and you take supplements that basically cover just about every need that you have. For example, to be healthy, you need to have 60 trace minerals. And we only have 3 minerals in our soil. So you need to pick things that will complement that. And it's not difficult. I save you this research. It's all in my book. And of course, things change. But almost everything in there hasn't changed.
That's right.
Still the same technique, same everything.
Because it's basics. It's basics. One of the big things about superfoods, we talk about superfoods helping us become superhumans. I know you have been talking about that ever since the book was done, but my husband actually used me as kind of a guinea pig way back when, and it worked. It actually worked. I joined the health club.
Look at you now. You're gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh, you're sweet. Well, you know what? I have never felt better, and it's because of doing things here. But you know what? I'm so still far from perfect. My husband walks his talk every day, works out every single day, 7 days a week. He's 78. And I wish you could see how much weight do you lift? You're up there.
Well, it depends upon what machine or what sequence of weights I'm using, what part of the body.
Yeah.
But I take the different weights, and I see the young, really healthy young men in the club. And so when I look at the weights I'm lifting as the same as they're lifting, it's not to try to prove anything, but just to work that way, because I kept increasing it.
Exactly.
And the more I increase it, the better my body responds to it.
That's right.
So, and getting back to the 6 steps, I gave you the 3rd step, which is supplements. Then the 4th step is relaxation. Pascal said something quite profound. All of human unhappiness comes from one single thing, not being able to live in a room alone. There's a lot of truth to that. People are afraid to be alone. And the greatest ideas, greatest things that improve our life come from when you are in a silent state all alone, away from everybody. And yeah, you can call it a form of medication.
Meditation.
Meditation. That's your medication?
It is medication,
Well, yeah,
actually. It's natural
well,
medication.
That wasn't a slip. That was.
Good cover-up.
So anyway, then you have to relax, and if you can't relax, you can't really do the next step. The next step is have a good psychological profile. Like yourself. Believe in yourself, because if you have confidence in yourself, all the other people around you that are part of your team will actually help their confidence.
Absolutely.
And the best gift I tell anyone that you can give your family and the people that are looking up to you or looking at you is to be a good example. Nothing is greater than be a good example. When my daughter and son talk and brag about their father, how fit he is, well, it isn't the I that makes me feel so good. It's what I did so that they are becoming good citizens. I'm proud of all of them. There's 4 of them. I'm proud of them. They've all accomplished a lot. And they're all in different ways. But that, to me, is the most important thing. And why I've been able to have children like that, I set the example. I don't always like myself. I got into this at 35 years of age. I took my first martial art class. Then it helped me get to the next step, which is psychological profile, your basic attitude. And your psychological profile is how you respond to stress. What is your demeanor? Do people feel better about themselves when they walk away? How do they feel about themselves after they've been in your company? If they walk away from you feeling bad, then obviously you're not doing something right. If they walk away from you feeling good, to me, that's my objective. Every time I have a situation or a conversation with anyone that I know or even people I don't know, I try to set a good example.
Exactly, because there's so much craziness going in the world, especially today. There's such volatile times. There's so much hatred and things going on, and we really want to use our platform to doing our part in contributing to make it a better world. I know it's not all Pollyanna out there and everything, but if everybody does their part and showing a little bit more love, as many of you know, if you were with us in our first shows for the year, one was definitely on hope. It was the whole Hope Hour, and then the next one was all on love in February, Valentine's month. And you're gonna see a lot of that here because we believe in love, because as you know, being in that love state, it literally changes the molecular structure inside our body, right down at a cellular level, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. We're going to talk more about that here in just a few seconds. But I also wanted to mention, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, think about it during our commercial break. If you were to author a book, what would your story be about? It could be fiction. It could be life's learning lessons. Think about that, because coming up in the last portion of our show, we have a publishing gal, which is not unfamiliar to many of you out there, Miss Lena Tringata, also known as Tinkerbella in the community, as she goes around and spreads her social fairy dust everywhere. She's going to teach you, along with Mona Giordano, at a special class they have coming up in less than 14 days, I believe. We're going to talk about that and how you can get ready to rock and roll and share your story. So we're going to take that little break. I'm going to come back with the champ here in a little bit and see what kind of secrets he will share with us on not only anti-aging, but living the very best quality of life that you can live. We'll be right back after this. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Pathetic. Oh, we're back. We're
You
back.
got caught, didn't you?
I got caught. Nobody gave me any cue, and I'm talking to the girls here. Hi.
At least it was good
Welcome
talk.
back. I know. We weren't saying anything bad, but we don't do that anyway. So welcome back into Primetime TV Show. We were also talking about, during the break, a little bit of my husband's book. And what 2 points did we leave off with? 5 and 6?
No, we left one off.
Okay, one.
And that, when you do your exercise, when you use the right nourishment, when you take the right supplements, when you learn how to relax, and then when you can really have a good psychological profile, that is the winning attitude, then number 6 is automatic, happiness.
Happiness.
Right. To be happy, you have
happens
to
automatic.
have those 5 things. If not, if one of those is weak, that brings down a whole house of cards.
Oh, I like the way you express that. So let me go
I do
over.
too.
Let's go
That's
over
why
this.
I said it.
So let's go over that again. The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. You can get it on Dennis-Kelly.com. That's Kelly. Again, this is a manual. This will be by your bedside. It will be in your favorite easy chair. It will go with you on vacation everywhere. Step 1 is exercise. Get that body moving. Number 2, supplements. And supplements can make a big difference. Diet and nutrition. Relaxation, handling stress. That is the number 1 cause for dis-ease and in many cases premature death. Number 5 is attitudes and outlooks. If you can find your way to have a positive attitude and a positive outlook, that is really a big key to mastering your life experience that leads to number 6, which is happiness.
It's automatic then.
It's automatic when you feel good. Obviously, you look good because it comes from inside out. And if you get into that good old-fashioned love feeling and share that love, do something for your community, get involved. It can make a big difference in your life. So I'm going to let you pick up where we left off. Give us a few tips in this segment here, because we have the girls that's going to be coming up next.
Well, like I said, the book is like a manual.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really encapsulate it into, say, 1 paragraph, what the book does, it will show you how to use century-old secrets of the mind to build an empire out of a single thought.
One thought.
One thought, held enough and focused on that thought, the proper thought, you can build an empire. And a lot of people don't realize that, because everything is vibrations. When you think with that type of thought and you build up a passion and you see it, when you close your eyes or when you go into meditation, it doesn't matter. When you're in the twilight, when you're ready to go to sleep, picture that empire.
That's what I did when I wanted to dance. I focused. Get me on the dance floor. Get me on the dance floor. I got on the dance floor.
Yeah, you did. You got what you focused that really well.
Single one thought. I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. So let's see, what do we want to think of next? My mind's always going.
Well, you don't have to. When you set a goal of success, whatever your goal needs to be or you want to be, the key is to have a picture of that goal and feel like it's already accomplished. And the problem with a goal is people sometimes spend too much time imaging it, and they don't spend enough time getting to doing it. You know, a dream without action is a waste of time. Action without a dream is a nightmare. But when you can have action with a vision, then you have wonderful things happen.
Exactly. And you know, you've done that all your life, especially when you started competing in the martial arts. And that was to really basically prove this is part of his story. Remember, I told you this whole hour is about what's your story. And my husband's story was really overcoming a lot of negative talk from his coach, your stepfather, your girlfriend who broke up with you because you couldn't and wouldn't dance, and just all these different things coming into his life experience. He went back to recreate a better scenario, and look where you've become. In fact, you have written your own screenplay, your own movie, The Legend of Tango Man, so that when we leave the planet, that we leave your story in a moving picture. And we're hoping and praying that that happens, because there's so much goodness that has come from your life and what you have shared with me and my life and my family and the public, and so many different seminars and workshops that you've done, and the letters of testimonials that have been coming in, especially lately, because we've been asking for them for the Dennis Kelly Champion Life Center Foundation that we're working on, and hope to get that so that we can give all this back in a big, big way, in addition to the platform that we have here on Primetime TV Show, and really collaborate with the right people to get those right messages out.
Well, you are the designer of your destiny. You're the author. You write the story. The pen is in your hand. The outcome is whatever you choose. But basically, like, you can relate to like being a movie director. Most people are a character in the movie, but somebody else is directing their movie, which is their life. So the key is looking at life like you're the director of your movie, and you can be a character also, but you control what happens. The problem is most people have somebody directing them. Through whatever means, through manipulation, through love, whatever. The key thing is to be able to be in control. And the way that you're able to be in control is, like I mentioned, you have a plan, look at the plan every day, and don't allow yourself to get involved with petty things. I have two systems that I believe in. One is don't sweat the small stuff. Number two is everything is small stuff. Everything is small stuff. We're here today and gone tomorrow. Why not make life a pleasure?
You know, that's true. Tomorrow really is never promised, right? How many of us have heard that time and time again? How many of us, especially when we get a little bit, you know, older in life and we start losing friends, family members, and things of that nature, it really jars us into the moment, and really appreciating with gratitude the moments that we do have, and to make a difference in those moments. That's why What's Your Story is very passionate to us to be able to share with you. That's why we've decided to do so many different special editions here and give other people the opportunity to share their dreams with you. You, right where you're sitting, may end up on this couch with us someday, because I know during the break I said, think about it. If you could author a book, what would your story be? Maybe fiction? Maybe as a result of an experience that you've had in your life that you've overcome, and you're just busting at the seams to get your story out because you know it can help other human beings to live a better quality of life. I don't think we can ever have too much inspiration or motivation in a world that we're living in today.
That's very well
That's
put.
a story in itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely is a story. The problem is 77% of the population are negative. And we're under a lot of negative influence from the press, TV, whatever, relatives, family. There's always something. The key is to reach a state of imperturbability.
I love that word.
That's the purpose of the book.
What is imperturbability? I can't even say it.
Where nothing upsets your apple cart.
Oh, yeah.
The Chinese called Wu Qi, which means immortal person, or great person. And to be what they consider a great or mortal person is they have covered these 6 steps. If you go over to Asia and ask for their philosophies and how to be healthy, they cover those 6 steps that are in the book. It's not really rocket science.
No, it's basics. And when
Yeah.
you have basics, basics really don't ever go out of style. You just add to them, like we were talking about, superfoods, superhuman beings, and being up with the latest technology. Oh, yeah, being up with the latest technology. Even when, I'm not just talking about, texting and social media, even though that changes every day, but also understanding what affects the human body today, because even that is changing too, and staying on the cutting edge on different things that can build our immune system. And I'm really speaking from my heart about that. When you build your immune system, like my husband has worked out every single day ever since I've known him, even more since you were diagnosed with the P word 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But had you not taken as good care of yourself as you have, you may not have been in this state to be able to overcome many of the ravaging effects of the Parkinson's disease.
Well, the key is not to allow yourself to become fragile.
Or a
many
victim.
people, as they grow older, they get fragile. That's because they're not exercising their mind, their body, and their emotions. A lot of people don't realize, too, that if you're 35 years of age and do not exercise for the rest of your life, you lose 2% per year of your physical fitness. So by the time you turn 60, you've lost 50% of your total strength, fitness level. And there are exceptions to the rule, but this is in general. And the other thing is, if you do exercise properly 3-4 times a week, then you only lose 0.5%. So by the time you turn 65, you only lost 12.5% of your physical capabilities. And here's the other thing, that when you lose that 50% or 40%, whatever the ratio is, you lose usually the same ratio mentally. You lose the ability to focus, concentrate. And it's so sad to watch people go down that black hole, as you so eloquently call it.
You were in a black hole, but because of the knowledge of supplements and having the right people around us, having our foundation grounded, I mean truly grounded in faith, is truly what brought the answers to us, and still are. So that's really our story, and we're sticking to it. We have about a minute remaining, and our girls are going to be coming out talking about how you can write your book. They're going to actually tell you how you can get involved in doing that, and we'll share a little bit about their story as well. Yes, I know you're wondering, where are my books? They're in the makings with Bellissimo Publishing. And oh, I feel sorry for that girl. Trust me when I tell you, that poor gal. I've already started. I have like a shelf full of all kinds of different books we're going to condense and have a series. And then your next book coming out will be The Champion Within.
Subtitle, as you know, Slaying the Dragon of Stress.
Exactly, and that's one of the biggest things that this book is all about, and what you talk about in your seminars, in your workshops. If we can all handle stress, really master it right to the nth degree, it affects everything in our life experience. It drags us down, it gets us in that different vibrational level, that different mindset, that different consciousness that affects our being all day long, and it affects others that are around us. So, having said all that, I want to thank you for joining us for this first half hour and sharing some little tidbits on your book. Again, you can get his book by Dennis Kelly on dennis-kelly.com, and you can pick this up, and you will use this as a manual. There's so many great tips in that, and of course when his next book comes out through Bellissimo Publishing Company, we'll have that for you as well. But stick around, get nice and comfortable, because you're going to hear some really good stuff coming up in our next 2 segments. We have Helena Trangata, again also known as Tinkerbella, and then we also have Mona Giordano, who is an absolute delight in our community, and they're going to be sharing what is on the forefront here in just a matter of days, I think about 2 weeks or so, where we're going to be talking about an event that's coming up that you can actually get involved with and learn how to write your own story. What do you think, champ?
I think that's very exciting.
I know. How do you like our new set?
I love it.
Isn't this great?
I want to take it home with me.
I know, I do too, but I don't think that's going to work.
No, I don't think so.
But this is actually our sponsor who happens to be Great Rooms. So we want to thank Great Rooms for our lovely furniture.
One last thing I want to say. So many people that tell me, I'm at the end of my rope, and at the end of my rope, all they have to learn to do is tie a knot on it and hang on.
That's right. We know how to...
about tying a knot.
There you go. They forget about tying the knot. On that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more right here on Primetime TV. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Look, our pants match.
Oh, we're live.
We're live.
Now, what happened there? We're just sitting here trying to look all pretty and stuff like that.
That's a goal.
Well, it is a goal. It is a goal. Welcome into Primetime, everyone. What's your story? It's all about what your story is. And I have been on Facebook all day promoting, as you two girls have, because we do have stories that we want to share with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and to my right is my person, Helena Tringata, a.k.a. as Tinkerbella, and of course, Mona Giordano.
Hey, Barb.
The new author coming on board, right? Well, you jumped right in there.
It's going to happen.
I know.
Over 20 years of waiting, and it's finally going to happen. I could not be more delighted. Yes,
it is.
And I'm very excited to be a little part of that.
I know. Well, many of you that have been with us, you know, over, gosh, years now doing the show, know that Helena is Bellissimo Publishing, and you've been extremely successful in really teaching people how to bring their story out in the open, regardless of what that is, whether it's fiction, whether it's a true story, or whatever.
Going to do a cookbook soon.
I know that's what you said.
Yeah,
that is
it's
so
exciting.
So, I mean, you just keep broadening your horizons. What made you start doing it?
I think that it was just the idea. As you know, I was a life coach, and people would tell me stories, and I would say, you should write a book. And sure enough, they started writing books, and I started publishing them.
Isn't that
And
cool?
my husband, as you also know, is a fiction writer, so he had been traditionally published. And when it was time for the second book, I said, we need to look into e-publishing. And I would send him all of these e-publishing tools and guidelines, and he would just ignore them, apparently. And so finally I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to publish your book. And then people came right along with me, because as social media was allowing me to talk about coaching on Facebook, they were like, well, you can do my book too. And so that's how I got started.
So it's not as difficult as people may think, right?
It is not. It's the idea.
The guideline and the help and the, right?
It can be difficult if you're trying to do it on your own without any guidance and not knowing exactly, I mean, there are people that can go on and try and self-publish themselves, but there's so many little intricacies that even trying to do that, you just don't know. You need someone with experience to show you the ropes and know all the codes and all those different things. And, it's just, you have to make up your mind that it's time to stop making excuses and get the right help.
That is so
I'm very grateful.
True. I know, I am too, to have somebody that knows what they're talking about and that can point us in the right direction. But now, I'm going to save a little bit of what you want to share, however much you want to share, in the last part of our half hour here together. But you two have teamed up, and you're going to be actually teaching people how to do their own book, step by step. You're going to take them by the hand and lead the way. Help them lead the way for their book. And that's going to be coming up on
March 14th, which is a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow. We're very excited about it, because Mona and I have known each other for quite some time, and we obviously admire and respect each other, and we think we work well together.
We do.
And the idea that she's going to be publishing her book at the same time is just an extra little gift. But I've never done this type of class. I've always done one-on-one with my authors. And this way they get a little bit of break on the price, because we're doing it as a group.
Sure.
And then the great thing is they're going to get to support each other. Don't you think that'll be fun?
Yes.
I think that'll be a lot of fun, because we'll be able to edit each other's work a little bit and critique each other, obviously constructive. We don't want anyone smashing anyone's dreams. But I think that will be quite fun.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
So we're going to have an information class first next week on Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the
Direct Connection.
it just kind of left me.
It's okay.
At the
It
Direct
happens.
Connection, I just was there 5 minutes ago. And so people can come and get a lot of their questions answered, because it is going to be, we're making it as easy as 1, 2, 3 to publish your story. So you come to the first class, you decide whether you want to do it. You've got 6 classes to actually build your story into a book. And then if you choose to at that point, and you've done all your homework up until then, we can go ahead and publish you in the number 3 part of it. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 sessions. So
that just sounds like a winner. It really does. And
I think it's going to be quite fun. I think I will be stimulated, because there's going to be so many people that are doing it, a little bit here, a little bit there. They're going to be in different places. Some of them will have already written a lot of their books. Some of them will be at square one. It's all up here. And some of them may not have even gotten there yet. But
they know that it's inside them.
They know that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be just delightful.
Well, there's nothing like hands-on. Hands-on. It's one thing to hand somebody the manuscript, but to be able to take that and dig into it. It's like getting into a recipe and getting your fingers into it and kneading the dough and all that. And I don't know, it just seems like you have more accountability.
It's so much like a recipe, and the fact that it's not just the book.
Right.
It's not just the book that they're going. They've got to figure out what they're going to call their book. I mean, they've got a story inside of them, but they've got to figure out what they're going to, and we're going to talk about all of these things. What are they going to, what's the title going to be? What's the cover going to be? Because there's so many tips and tricks and hacks of what your cover should look like. Believe it or not, so many people come to me and they say, I want a book published. Have you ever looked at Amazon and in your genre? No. Have you ever bought a book on Amazon? No. But I want an ebook. So that's going to be part of their homework, is they're going to need to go out and look at their genre, find out whether or not their title is out there 50 times, because that's not a good thing, right? No. And what are those people charging for their books?
Right.
So that's how we get started after the intro class. And then there's the idea of, do we want to, are you going to have graphics in your book? Are you going to have pictures in your book? Or how are we going to physically assimilate it? And then we'll share those ideas with each other, because feedback from you would be probably a great thing for them. And guess what? What? Barb's going to be one of our guest speakers.
I'm looking forward to that. That's your little surprise.
Yeah, that's a surprise. So
I know.
Okay.
I'm excited about that, because, as we all know, what video can do to help anybody, whether it be in business or really sharing your story, as an author. So, and I'm going to look forward to doing that and sharing.
So as we go on, there are, again, more pieces of that recipe. The copyright issues and editing issues, and if you're going to have someone actually do graphics for you, or if you're going to do them yourself. I mean, there's so many little pieces to this pie that we're putting together, and so I like the idea of that this is a culmination of all of that. It's going to be covered in this class. Isn't that fun?
It is fun.
Because Mona's the only one here that knows the whole agenda.
Yeah, I know. My mind is going, it's going, and I'm thinking, okay, so we come to the informational class, right? For everybody that signs up for this, we have a couple of minutes in this segment. Do we need our laptop? Are we bringing our laptop? No. Do we need to be current on social media and all that, real savvy with that? No, we don't.
No.
Okay, so I cut to the chase and got that right out of the way. You got a book inside you, maybe you're not computer savvy or whatever, you can attend this class.
That's right.
No prerequisites.
Well, in the info class, there's no prerequisite for it. I mean, just that you want to know a little bit more about what the possibilities are.
Awesome.
I'm all about the infinite possibilities.
I know.
And so come to that class, and then you can make a decision whether you want to come back and do class 1, because we want you to come and give it a try. But if it's not for you, you've lost nothing. This is a complimentary intro class on the 14th, and then there will be a fee for the classes after we get going, but it's quite reasonable. I think they'll find it's quite reasonable.
Absolutely, especially if you've ever priced going with some of the publishing companies out there. I know years and years ago, oh my goodness, it wasn't even doable. But it looks like we have a commercial break coming up right now, so we're going to do that. When we come back, we're going to talk more about your infinite possibilities on What's Your Story. We'll be right back. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Tried the salted
good.
caramel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, here we go again. We're back again. We were just talking about organic ice cream, right? Well, we are Women Unscripted. Welcome back in, everyone. You know what? This is a very informal show, but yet professional, but a lot of fun. You never know what to expect on prime time. We make it fun. We make it informative. We have laughed and we've cried together on this set, and it's all good stuff. So thanks for joining us. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. In case you're just tuning in into our last segment, Helena Trangata with Bellissimo Publishing will bring the infinite possibilities out of you, just as she's doing with Mona Giordano.
Yes, she is.
And I saved some of the best for last to share why you waited for 20 years and what made you decide, okay, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to tell my story.
Well, there's countless reasons why, the wait. Most of them I've discovered are all just excuses. Not smart enough, one of those things where you think you just, I don't know how to write a book. Worried about grammar and punctuation. Nobody would want to listen to what I have to say. I don't want to hurt anybody that may be part of the topic of my book. And on and on. I mean, I can't afford it. You just feed yourself with excuses after excuses because it's kind of a scary thing to do, to step out there and tell your story. Now, I am a devout Christian and I have an incredible story to tell, and I just know that the time has come, and I really feel so blessed that Helena has kind of taken me under her wing and encouraged me, given me the encouragement to just do it, to just get it done, to take that step of faith and put it down on paper and let her worry about where the commas go and the
There you go.
punctuation
There you
and
go.
The editing and all of the things that make it seem impossible for the average person. I'm just
Sure.
your average Jane,
Right.
And so I'm really excited about it. I think the biggest thing too is fear. That's probably the number one reason that I've waited so long, is fear of the unknown and fear. I'm talking one-on-one to someone. I feel like I'm a vulnerable and transparent person. But when you start getting down to the nitty-gritty that's going to be put into a book where you're really bearing your all, you want to make sure that it's properly represented, and you overcoming the fear of getting it wrong or somebody not understanding it. I used to work for a court reporting firm, and what I learned is that in conversational speech, you can put a comma in the wrong place and change the whole meaning
Yeah.
of what someone's saying. And so when I'm typing and writing, it's full of ... and dash, and because I typed conversationally, but that's not what writing a book is about. And so the fear of doing that wrong was a big setback. So that's where Helena comes in, because she has the expertise so that you can be confident and you can be calm and not fearful, because what you do is you tell your story.
Exactly.
Nobody knows the details like you know the details, and then she's going to aid in taking all of the hard parts away, the unknowns and the things that you don't know how to do. So it's very exciting.
It's got to be.
20 plus years I've known. And you know what's funny? When I very first met Helena, we sat and had coffee, and she told me, you need to write a book. And it planted that seed, but this time, instead of it just falling to the wayside, it went into fertile soil. And so that encouragement, she's always been very encouraging to get it done. Not pushy in any way, shape, or form, but always encouraging.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you need when you're getting ready to take that step.
Well, and that particular day with that particular coffee, I cried. She brought me to tears. Her story brought me to tears. And it's an awesome story, and it will encourage other people in many ways that I probably don't even know. As you're saying, you're a woman of faith. She's been to the bottom and back, and pulled herself up with God's help by her own bootstraps, in my opinion, that little bit of the story that I know. And I love her for that. And she told her story, part of it last week, at a local networking group at Women Helping Women. And I think they were stunned. And I think that she was very brave to tell that story. And I was a little concerned that they were just probably... there wasn't a whole lot of feedback in the very beginning, but I think it started coming in, and it was because people were just in awe that you could stand up and tell that. I mean, I think that they were just in awe of that story. It's touching.
Well, it was coming from your heart, and when people share that rawness, it gets people to lean a little bit more forward to go, oh, I know someone that can relate to this. Or maybe they could relate to, even whether it's a small part or a big part. And isn't that what our purpose is to help one another?
That's right.
Absolutely.
To love one another.
That's what God
and
put us here for.
Exactly. And through the grace of God, we're able to share our stories and step out into that faith and work on the fear. And as a life coach, false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
There's so much truth to that.
Oh, yes.
But you know what? When you're in that fear mode, it's difficult sometimes to get out of it. So you just got to do it. You just got to make up your mind, and that's, oh, listen to me talking, right? I am book after book. It's all there. It's all here. It's in here. It's on shelf after shelf.
She's told me the stories, the titles. She's got it all, but it's just a matter of getting it done.
It's time.
Okay, so maybe you need to not just be a speaker.
Exactly.
Maybe you need to be a participant.
Oh, maybe. What do you think? Well, you guys really are going to do well with this, because of the way you have it all laid out and everything. And by the way, we'll get our telephone number up there. We've been showing it here. We do have our call-in number, where if you have a quick question for one of the ladies, feel free to. We'll get that up there once again before we close this segment of the show. But seriously, if you've ever thought of writing a book, or you want to share your story, regardless of what that story is, and I tell you, I have heard so many stories myself from people who has no inkling of writing a book until you kind of ring that bell to them, like with you, that sort of hit those emotional heartstrings that probably made you think, maybe I should.
And that's a great, I love that stories like Mona's. But the other part of it is to set yourself up as an expert in your field. That's a great way to do a book, because you can be setting to someone. We all know people that are in different. You can be talking to someone who is, let's say. an attorney. And you know, every attorney has a little thing outside their door that says they're an attorney, but they all have specialties and they all have stories to tell. And if they tell some of those stories in a book, it might actually elevate their possibilities of getting a different clientele, or a clientele that is led to them because of those stories. So I mean, it really
Exactly.
does set you apart in your field.
And you're a purpose coach.
Yes.
And being a Christian, so reading your book, I'm seeing people want to come to you for assistance.
I actually think that in my particular case, it's going to end up being a series. And so with Helena's guidance, I'm thinking that the first issue, I guess you would say, the first version, what is it, the first edition, the introduction, what do I call it? Show me the way. But then I think that there's going to be more. There's going to be like
then
series.
you would do like a backstory at that point?
Well, because not everybody is going to want to read a book about drug addiction. Not everybody is going to want to read a book specifically about alcoholism or abuse, you know, mental
So there would
abuse
be
or
like a
sexual
mini
abuse.
series,
So yeah, a mini series, because the first one, I'll probably start at my liver transplant 6 hours from death and work backwards.
Did you know that?
Seriously.
See what I mean?
Seriously, yes, and caused by shooting up heroin, you know, and contracting hepatitis C. Again, sometimes one of the things that holds you from doing it is you think, nobody's going to believe this. It's too unbelievable. But what God has given me and brought me through to the other side of, I just feel like I can help so many, not just women, however, that is my passion. You know, my heartbeat is to help women overcome, to help to empower them, to educate them, to encourage them, and to show them, you know, absolutely positively that there is another way. You don't have to be stuck and trapped in this abusive relationship. You don't have to be stuck and trapped and held in the bondage of drug addiction. There's the other side,
Exactly.
you know. But you need help, you need encouragement to get to that place.
And you've got that with Helena as a life coach, a fellow life coach, and
Absolutely.
we are so running out of time with 1 minute remaining.
Okay.
Let's give the particulars where we can get a hold of you. The date is next Tuesday night, right?
Next Tuesday night,
March
March
week from
14th
tomorrow.
at 6 o'clock. It's a 2-hour intro class. And
The intro
it's-
class is free. That's an orientation.
That's right.
And it's going to be held at the Direct Connection in Holiday.
In Holiday.
And the physical address is 2632 US Highway 19.
Got to check it out, and I want to thank you ladies so much. Thank
You
you
are
so
so
much.
welcome.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
that.
Thank you
Thank
for allowing us
you.
to come on and share our story about telling
What
a
an
story.
honor.
I know, right? So get a hold of these ladies, and let's bring that story out in you. Thanks for
Yes.
joining us today on Prime Time. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed